Well, hello everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Annette Dion, the host and creator of the Psychic News Network. It is Saturday, September 11th, 2021, and it's a somber day in the United States, and it's a very reflective day. And I watched Black and Orange today. I need to meet that woman. And she started her video that she does daily with a little bit of a somber vibe. We're happy people. It's just that sometimes, unhappy memories put us in a reflective, somber mode. So, yeah, I kind of was down for the count a little bit this afternoon. I was just like, whew! Don't usually nap. I do meditate. Don't usually nap. It's just the collective energy is pretty overwhelmed. Pretty overwhelmed, because we've had just layers and layers of, like it's like little trauma, little trauma, little trauma. Well, the big trauma of 9/11, obviously, 20 years ago, and then the past 6 years has been like one trauma after another, and COVID, and times that we really need to be connecting, like seeing each other and being with each other, and COVID making it necessary to distance. And so I'm here to tell you that we are collectively, thank God for YouTube, right? Like, we can connect with each other. You can connect with me, you can connect with other psychics, you can connect with the news that you like, or to just feel like we're all having a similar conversation, hopefully, and hopefully it's an uplifting conversation. So I'd be interested to know if anything sticks out in your mind from memories of that day. I was just kind of reflecting today that the end of 2000, the end of the year 2000, I was living in Nashville and I was interviewed about predictions for the year 2001, and it's documented somewhere that I said, I kind of like stepped back, the girl that was interviewing me, and I said, this is the year, and this is in 2000 of December, I said about 2001, this is the year that we'll all stop taking things for granted. It was interesting. And then I said, there's something that's going to happen in 2001 that's going to make us all step back and say, wow, that could have been me. And I thought at the time I was talking about a natural disaster or something like that, because it was just, beyond anyone's comprehension what was happening. But also, about a week before September 11th, 2001, I was doing readings for a psychic line, and the Tower card kept coming up in everyone's reading. When that happens, when a card consistently comes up, that tends to be more about the collective. So let's see what's going on. I want to tune in to any, knowing we're divinely protected with white light and love and everything, just kind of to tune into the energy of the people who perished that day. I know and believe that they're in a good place, because that's what I pick up from the spirit world. They're always, the energies are always light and love and goodness, and wanting us to enjoy our lives and to be happy and to pray and to be aligned with God and spirit. The message that I feel really strongly is we have to know that we are one. We have to know that we are together. We are, what happens with one affects the rest. And we definitely got that message on September 11th. I know it's been, we've seen some heinous things with January 6th, and the danger of that has not passed. It's not over, and the guides are saying we will have to rebuild together, not just like we did after 9/11, 2001, but we'll have to rebuild together like I was talking about us connecting with other YouTube psychics and just being there for each other, kind of. We have to together lay down the foundations for a civilization that works in the United States. Well, everywhere, but you know, I'm in the United States, so I mean really everywhere. It goes for the entire world. The great experiment of democracy is in peril. It's, you know, it's the only country on earth that tried this out with our Constitution and our rights to live our lives as we see fit. But it really involves not being, you know, interfering with someone else's rights. And that includes people of all colors and religions. That respect of each other's right, you know, to believe as they wish to believe, to live the way that they wish to live, and to have, you know, the right to express your opinion through our voting. And we must, I feel like the collective energy from the spirits of 9/11 who passed, I feel like that's about, okay, we've got to get to work. It's almost like when you get a job and it's like, okay, I have this job now, I have to do this job. And we have a job to do. Each one of us has a job to do to get involved. To get involved. And I just saw on MSNBC, which actually, I mentioned the program about 9/11 that they ran Thursday or Friday night. No, I think it was Thursday night. And I talked about it on my last video, and I said they'll probably rerun it. If I find out when they're going to run it again, I'll let you know. And I think it's tonight at 10, pretty sure, tonight at 10, and tomorrow at 10 p.m. It's just video that, you know, you just really have to see. Unfortunately, we've become more divided, and that was something that I, and you know, most people were very concerned about. After we felt so united, like united we stand, then we got very, very divided. And divided is an indicator of massive amounts of fear. I'm afraid you're different from me. I'm afraid of you. It's like, you know, some people view other people with maybe different colored skin, unfortunately, as like, it doesn't even make any sense. But, you know, they're afraid because somebody looks different. Wait till the aliens come around. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in. Wait till the ETs come around. Speaking of things that look different, well, the guides have a sense of humor. It's called cosmic relief. Comic relief. Who's with me? That's funny. Oh my goodness. You know, just because somebody looks different, it doesn't mean we have to hate them. I did say 2021 was the year, you know, my predictions for this year back in December was the year that we're going to find out the aliens are actually real. And then when we really see that, everything's going to shift, and some people won't be able to deal with it. All right, where am I at? Okay, so messages from the spiritual realm about what we learned from September 11th, 2001. Hug your neighbor. That's what I'm picking up. Hug your neighbor. Could be a virtual hug. It could be like a hug emoji. I know it feels real good when people leave nice comments. Maybe leave some nice feedback or comments, or send somebody a nice email that says, hey, I was thinking of you. And you know, think about how contagious a smile is. When somebody smiles, it's hard not to smile back. Hug your neighbor. That's what I'm feeling. Hug your neighbor. Honor your neighbor. And know that even though there are a lot of naysayers and troublemakers, even though that's gonna be here, it's always been here. I heard a speaker, a minister, her name is Joyce Meyer, you might have heard of her, she's been around for a while, who said something like 3% of the population of, you know, I think it was like 3%, will just not like you. There's always going to be people that just are haters. So we can't focus on that too much, but when we come together and hug our neighbors and spread positive energy through saying positive things, then that has really effect on the collective. You know, when somebody does something nice for somebody else, both people's serotonin levels raise, and that's your feel-good chemical in your brain. Even an observer who sees a nice gesture, a nice act of kindness, their serotonin level raises in their brains. So, you know, there's a scientific example that's been proven. I'm going to pick 3 cards about guidance this day moving forward, about lessons from that day, lessons for our country, courage and bravery. That's what they're saying, courage and bravery. It takes a lot of courage to get out on the streets and protest. The people that were on the streets last summer, as we speak, the same time of year, that went on for months. They were out on the streets, you know, practicing their First Amendment rights to protest, to have their voices be heard. That was a very courageous thing. We need those numbers of people. And think about it, now without a tyrant in the White House, you know, it's safer in a way. Well, yeah, it's safer because 45 wanted the protesters from the Black Lives Matter movement shot. I'm not kidding, that's factual. I'm not just saying that for effect. He wanted the military to shoot the protesters. I know the people voted for him is beyond my comprehension, but I digress. When we're out on the street protesting, exercising our First Amendment rights with courage and bravery and dedication and commitment, like the Black Lives Matter movement did and demonstrated that it can be done. I'm not going to get into the whether it worked. These things take a long time to unfold. But they had the courage to do it, and it has been done. And when we have courage and bravery to stand up for our rights, like women's right to choose, like every American's right to vote, then this country has hope. Right now, like Joe Biden said in his inauguration, democracy is in peril. It's going to take bravery, it's going to take courage. Let's think about the 40 people on that flight that was heading for the Capitol on 9/11 that did what needed to be done in the last minutes of their lives to keep America from having its entire government wiped out. It's heavy stuff. But working together can be fun. Right? It's fun to work together. I'm picking 3 cards about lessons, messages from 9/11. Yeah, you know, this is the rebuild card. We've got to all pitch in. This card reminds me of that organization called Habitat for Humanity that Jimmy Carter, even in his ripe old age of, I don't know, is he 100 yet? It's amazing the longevity of that man. This card reminds me of Habitat for Humanity. So it's about this country rebuilding, but it's about us all pitching in. So it's exactly what I was saying. We do have to mourn together. This is the 6 of Cups. This card is bringing up the message that we have to acknowledge each other's pain and suffering, which is it's interesting, because if we acknowledge our pain and suffering, it can be healed. And I know, just from all the work that I do and all that I know about psychology and counseling and that sort of thing, hurt people. People that are in pain inflict pain. And even 45, if you really get down to it, he had some horrible things. He had a horrible upbringing. I'm not justifying his terrible behavior. I'm just pointing to where it probably stemmed from. So hurt people. You know, horrible people do horrible things because they're hurt. So 6 of Cups. We have to learn how to heal others' pain. And I want to go to the children for some reason, because I want to just say, we've got to teach the children goodness, kindness. You know, how about goodness and kindness classes? I like that idea. etiquette. I guess back in the early days, like maybe the 50s, in school they taught etiquette, I think. I don't know. I have to look that up. 50s. The Queen of Swords. This is reminding me of our mother country, of our not Russia. Don't get me wrong. This is reminding me of our nurturing qualities. The United States of America being nurturers to other countries. How that actually will serve us. Like for instance, I bumped into somebody on the street today. I did go to a 9/11 ceremony. It lasted 5 minutes because of COVID, and it was outdoors. They're really careful in Massachusetts. But on my way back to my car, I bumped into somebody, and she was telling me about there are Afghan refugees that will be coming to our town, like probably your town too. We need to help. I mean, what if that was us? What if we just happened to have been born in Afghanistan and got caught up in the war that America started because of 9/11 or whatever? We won't get into all that, why we went to Afghanistan. But anyway, these refugees will be coming here, and we have to help and not hate. And so we have opportunities to make reparations in the sense, excuse me, I had a big Sicilian sandwich. No wonder I fell asleep. It was delicious. So we have to come to a place where we, and once one person does it, another person can do it, and another person can do it, where we show our kindness. We can teach our children kindness. We can show these refugees kindness. These poor people, they're just humans that got caught up in a war that we were bombing this country. You know what I'm saying? Let's be nice. It's nice to be nice. That's my 9/11 message. All right, let's go to Governor Abbott. No, you know what? Before I go to Governor Abbott, I want to talk about 45. Because, there was a turning point from a psychic perspective in his mental health status. From a psychic perspective. And it came with the comment that he wants to box Joe Biden. 45 wants to get into the boxing ring. I don't know if he's talking literally. I think he is, because he's at that. Something wrong. Something definitely wrong. He's talking about 9/11 being the time that he wants to get Joe Biden into the boxing ring and knock him out. Now, you know that he does these things and he says these things for dramatic impact, which he's very creative with that. He's always making up something that just blows your mind, and every time, to me, it just seems like it gets worse and worse and worse. It just escalates. And he's doing it for effect. But this time, there's a different energy to it. And I feel like, when I last saw 45, he was bloated. He wasn't making sense, like he never makes sense. And I feel like he's turned a corner on the mental illness thing. I've always known he's mentally ill, so a malignant narcissist, hater, sociopath. It's very scary stuff. But he turned a corner on this one. So we're going to take a look at what's going on in his head. If I can look. I'll do my best. I will do my best. I'm not staying long. Going into 45's head, but I'm just going to make it brief. I don't want to pick up too much. All right, so let's see. I hope you enjoyed the day. It was absolutely stellar, beautiful, gorgeous day today. Not a cloud in the sky. Just like it was that faded day 20 years ago. Exactly the same. 7 of Cups. He can't even think straight. He cannot even think straight. And actually, because we have so much evidence against him, this is the Magician. The Magician is he's definitely working really hard on seeing how many tricks he can pull. Tricks, that reminds me of a card term. Trump, tricks, Trump turning tricks. no matter what he's done to try to, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's seeing if he can keep getting more money from he's grifting. He's trying to see how much more money he can get from his fans. But I did mention this 20-year commemoration was hugely impactful to the American people. There's not one American citizen that wasn't affected by what happened then and didn't have a lot of emotional response today, because it's a deep collective trauma. I feel things shifting away from 45 and away from the GOP, the most horrible ones, the 12 that were in, the dirty dozen we call them, that were in on the insurrection. I feel like a hole's been poked into them and they're deflating like a football. Deflategate reminds me of Tom Brady and that whole thing. Deflategate. And the guides are showing me Governor Abbot, treading water. You know, like if you get in over your head and you get a little like panicked and you start treading water because you're afraid you're sinking. Ooh, that's interesting. But I'm talking about 45. He's trying to do some tricks to get himself out of this place where he is in huge trouble. I actually feel like we're going to see, and I did mention this about the 9/11 commemoration day today, that I saw people recommitting to saving our country, and I really mean that. I'm going to take a look at that. And there are certain things that are going to come up about 45 where a lot of people, we know it's never all of them, right? A lot of people are going to go, that's it, I can't follow him anymore. And the same goes for Fox News. A lot of people are going to go, that's it, I can't follow this anymore. And I'm real curious. I don't watch Fox News. I'm afraid to watch Fox News because it would really ruin my day or my night. And I just see people going, reaching the saturation point where they can't do it anymore. And the guides are telling me the reason that people are turning away from 45 and his cohorts, I don't even believe that we still have to look at his face. But anyway, I guess we don't. We don't have to look at his face, but he's still in the news. Anyway, as they have less and less to offer the people will rise up. Because think about it. What's Greg Abbott really offering to people? Oh, you're free to choose. You're free to choose not to wear a mask. But a woman is not free to choose what happens in her own body. That's a violation upon a violation, especially for a rape victim. Yeah. They're not taking care of their people. DeSantis isn't taking care of his people. And I mentioned the children, and please take care of the children. Please, because these governors aren't. So 45 in his cohorts, we all know who they are. There's a list. There's the list, a shorter list of those who participated in the insurrection. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. I had to throw that in. There's a list of those that were part of the insurrection, and then there's a longer list of them plus all the governors and senators and congressmen that don't have their constituents' best interest at heart. So all the people in their states, like look at Texas, what Texas has been through. And Cruz leaves the state in the middle of a deep freeze where people are freezing to death, literally. He goes to Mexico. It piles up. How many times they have only looked out for their own private, personal, selfish interests is piling up. And that is going to be the fuel that feeds the fire of the American people. We're going to have fire in our belly, and we're going to rise up. And especially the people in Texas and Florida, kind of. I see Texas, I see Georgia, I see protests. I see protests starting mostly in Texas and Georgia. All right. Let's look at Abbott, since it came up that he's treading water and he's sinking. These ideas are not popular. No normal person would say it's a good idea. Yeah, take away women's rights. It's a good idea. Yeah, we're in a democracy, but take away our right to vote. Nobody thinks it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. You don't think it's a good idea. Anybody with a brain knows it's a bad idea. They're terrible ideas. Let the, take away health care. Let the people suffer. Yeah, oh yeah, real popular. Oh my gosh, give me a break. This is Abbott. Didn't I get the same card for him the other day? I think I did. I'm pretty positive I got that card for Abbott. Doesn't look fun. And the Temperance, this is a women, the female power rising up. So I've been banned for, I think off Facebook one time, for having a card where the lady looked naked. It was the writer Waitek. Anyway, so the women, this represents the women. The women are going to, this is what the women are throwing, sorry, it's a little glary, are throwing these at Abbott. Oh my gosh. Love, 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 everybody. Love, love, love. And the Emperor, this is representing the justice system. The DOJ. Now, I know that we probably wanted to see Merrick Garland go a little more forceful, but the guys are telling me he's playing his cards right. So he's kind of, these are like warning flares. You got it coming to you. He sued Texas, and because Governor Abbott did that, and this is hugely unconstitutional. I mean, we have to prove to the world that we can save our democracy. That's a really important thing. So Abbott's got daggers coming at him, but let's see what the outcome will be for Abbott after this DOJ lawsuit. What's the outcome going to be for Abbott? Oh, I keep getting this card. The Eight of Pentacles. We have a lot of evidence against Abbott. The High Priestess is saying they have a lot of secrets. Whoever is investigating Abbott and DeSantis, I don't know. Whenever I read, it's like they're buddies or something, because they kind of come as a unit when I'm reading. This is there are some secrets that the government knows about Abbott and DeSantis that haven't been uncovered yet. So yeah, Merrick Garland, I feel like he's holding his cards close to his chest, Merrick Garland, about what he actually knows about the governor of Texas and DeSantis. But he's only letting a little bit out at a time. And the star card, as I told you, Mariana Revealing Light calls the star card the card for America. And I do too, because it just fits. Like the shining city on a hill. America will win this one. The American people will win this one. But we have to get involved. We have to practice getting involved. I see that happening. I see people getting involved. And Merrick Garland's, he's just kind of, poking his head out like a mole in a hole. Like, okay, I'm here. We hadn't seen him. We wanted to see him. It was good to see him. It was like, oh, you are in there. We thought you quit or something. So the guys just said women's rights will be restored. What about voting rights? Women's rights will be restored. I just heard it. Let's pray for our our justice system to become very stronger, very much stronger. Let's look at voting rights. There's going to be a change. Those voting restrictions are going to be cut down. The death card. Because they're on, yeah, so we're going to hear a lot about things being unconstitutional and that being reason for them to be shot down. The guys just said that Amy Coney Barrett is going to lose her seat. I see that, and then Kavanaugh. Why did that come up? Because I was talking about voting rights. Well, because the Supreme Court is supposed to step in and defend our right to vote. Hello? And to defend the Constitution. I do see more Supreme Court justices being appointed. I see 3. 3 new Supreme Court justices, and I mean, you can have kind of as many as you want. I do see 3, and I see that Biden's got 2 for sure that he's, got in his mind to pick. And let's see what's going to happen with the Supreme Court, because they're obviously not doing their job. And I mean, there's so many things we need to speak out about. But I want to just tell you, if it motivates you, it's inspiring to get involved. It really is. Okay, yeah, the Supreme Court is just gonna, it reminds me of what Mitch McConnell has done to this country, like just opposing just for the sake of opposing, being contrary just for the sake of being contrary. It reminds me of that. It's similar energy. And the Supreme Court, as it stands, we won't get anything done. And as long as it is the way that it is in the Supreme Court, that's a real stuckness there. The High Priestess says, once again, there are people in the know about what these people have done, that underhanded way that the last administration pushed through 2 highly unqualified judges to be on the Supreme Court. There's information coming out. It's going to take, 6 to 8 months before we know most of the story. The 7 of Wands is like, this reminds me of Kavanaugh. It's funny because I feel like he's being paranoid. I feel like Kavanaugh is paranoid. He might resign. You know how some people ruminate a lot? I feel like he's ruminating. I feel like he's losing sleep at night because Kavanaugh knows that somebody knows something. The High Priestess means somebody knows something. And he's going to be defending his position, but I don't think he's going to defend it for long. So, I'm not talking about like this week, even though I just do these readings for what's kind of currently going on in the near future. I do see him in a fight to defend himself. Like he did in that hearing. When he ever said, I forget who it was, but he said, "Yeah, I blacked out. Haven't you blacked out?" It's like, well, no, we haven't all blacked out from alcohol. It's not a common thing. Not as common as he thinks. And, yeah, oh my gosh, to even say that. We've seen the worst. Let's hope we've seen the worst. All right, let's kind of wrap it up with a couple more questions. It's interesting how the hurricane victims, what they're going through has just left the news. I understand the need for all this coverage, but we do have to help those people. So if you can give to the, I mentioned Second Harvest Food Bank in South Louisiana, wherever you can give to the Red Cross, but please help the people that have lost their homes. And in Louisiana, they were given like a month before their electricity comes back. It was September. I'm getting my hurricanes mixed up. It was September 1st that Ida hit the Northeast, where I am, not quite this far. See, prayer works. I like to think prayer works, and we diverted it. Anyway, and same thing happened with Henry. But those people in Louisiana, the hurricane came in the end of August, and they won't have electricity for a couple more weeks now. So please help. Let's see. I want to ask about the infrastructure bill. I think that's really important. The guy, and then the guys just said, ask about Joe Manchin. Okay, we're going to ask about Joe Manchin, and then we're going to ask about, they're connected. All right. Oh, this is Joe Manchin doing something nefarious behind the scenes, you think? You know what? His conscience is actually going to catch up with him. I know it's hard to believe that. That's what I just got. Something about, well, I don't think it's conscience as much as the pressure to look like he's a good guy. But boy, does he like to milk it and string people along. It's absolutely infuriating. Infuriating. I hate to say it, but the Democrats are just going to have to keep playing nicey. Joe Biden's going to bring Joe Manchin back into his office, and, oh, well, Joe Biden to Joe Manchin, oh, if we do this, well, maybe this will be good. And he's just trying to string him along. Oh my gosh, you know, it's kind of like Mitch McConnell just saying no, no, no to everything, just for effect. Give me a break. People's lives are on the line. That infrastructure bill can change America. Now, not to mention $300 million per day no longer going into an endless war. As badly as that ending went, as horrifying as it was, it had to end. $300 million a day. I haven't taken out the calculator and done the math, but you can do the math. How much more money America will have to take care of our people. And, you know, we'll take care of people that need to come here, too. That's a lot of money! $300 million just to one school system in a year. That's amazing. I dropped a card. I dropped 2 cards. They want to say something. I was talking about the infrastructure bill. The Republicans that are fighting it, they're going to fight really hard to keep the filibuster in place for the infrastructure bill. So infuriating. They're gonna try real hard. Get ready, you know. Just cool your jets. As far as the infrastructure bill, they're gonna just blabber on about why we shouldn't have this infrastructure bill and that it costs too much, but they don't think about, well, $300 million more a day for America because we stopped the war, and taxing Jeff Bezos, who's the other one? Branson, Elon. That's a gazillions of dollars that we can have to rebuild our country and to help our people. Anyway, they can do what they can to stop it. I do see annoying delays, like we haven't had enough of those. But Joe Biden will prevail. The infrastructure bill will prevail. It will. And the people that are in the path of hurricanes will get help. But we need we need the climate change infrastructure and the jobs that are in that bill. We need them. So rise up and speak out. I think I'll do one more question. Somebody asked me about the stock market and real estate, so I'm just going to lump that into the economy. I think I just addressed that because I see the infrastructure bill passing after many, many annoying delays. And so I think I did just answer that. It's going to get better. Our economy is going to improve incrementally. But in some ways it's not going to be incremental. In some ways it's going to be like, oh, wow, we have that now. Like, how about like universal health care? Oh, wow, we have that now. How lovely. So I want to ask, the last video I touched upon the September 18th situation. I see such high level security that I see that they're not going to get very far in terms of creating violence. Plus, after the big, focus on the 20th anniversary of September 11th, that takes the wind out of their sails, once again deflated. And I do want to say something very important about that September 18th rally to support the murderous criminals. It is what it is. That's exactly what it is. About that, the guides told me that everyone who can needs to send light beams of white light to that area of DC on the 18th to dissolve the energy of it. Just beams of white light to break up the energy of it and to render them ineffective. No harm done. White light does no harm. See these lights behind me? Like that. Just send light. Send light, send light, send light. It does work. Prayer works. It all works. So I'm just going to leave you with a question around the January 6th commission. How's that going to go? The guides just said gangbusters. They have funny words sometimes. Gangbusters. The January 6th commission, yeah. Woo! The Four of Cups indicates that Kevin McCarthy and his cohorts, that were involved in it have missed an opportunity to make themselves look better than they do right now. They missed an opportunity to make themselves look better than they do. And you know what? Calling out the tech companies and saying they're going to be in big trouble, that's like the idiocy. He missed an opportunity to make himself look innocent. But I don't think he can make himself look innocent. Anyway, he made himself look really bad. And he will continue to. The January 6th Commission is going to get what they need. This is a card about overcoming any obstacles and blocks. And the Hierophant, second time this came up, this is about the right thing happening, the right thing occurring. So be brave, be optimistic, know that you're not alone. We are never alone. If you did work with the spiritual realm like me, you definitely know you're never alone, even when it looks like you're alone. But nobody's alone. You have guides around you all the time. I just feel like it's really important because we're in a collective, grieving in our remembrance to reach out to one another. And if you know somebody who's lonely, just call them on the phone, so they can hear your voice. And if you only want to stay on the phone for 10 minutes, just say, I've only got a few minutes, but I was just thinking about you and I just wanted to say, hey, how are you doing? All right, business. If you'd like to book a reading, it's AnnetteDion7@gmail.com. That is the best way to book a reading. Just send me an email, AnnetteDion7@gmail.com. We'll find a time. We'll do it like this. And thank you for those who have booked readings. Please share, please subscribe. When I have 1,000 subscribers, I can go live and answer your questions as we roll. And that's always really fun. I used to do that on Facebook. And what else? Tarot at the Castle. We're still taking people that want to register because we are doing a Zoom live stream. So go to hammondcastle.org. I'll put that in my description. I keep forgetting, but hammondcastle.org, and that starts on Wednesday, 5 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. Broadcasting from the castle. We will record those too, so you can watch them afterwards also. All right. Is that everything? Oh, Church of Spirituality, I do on Facebook Live every Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't think you have to friend me on Facebook, just be on Facebook. But just to be safe, you can friend me on Facebook just under my name, and then you can see Church of Spirituality on my timeline too. Blah, 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 blah. That was a long session. So I hope you have a good evening and love you lots, and namaste. Bye now.